Can you describe yourself in 3 words?
Describing myself in 3 words, only in 3 words, is quite complicated, but I would say ambition, goal, and probably I can say K-pop in some ways. Yeah, so this is those 3 words.
Yeah, we will be talking about K-pop later.
A lot about K-pop today.
Why ambition? What is your ambition?
Why ambition? Because I'm changing my life and my lifestyle depending on my current goal and current ambition. No one, any of the foreigners came to that point of life or the career when I'm currently now, because there's not a lot of foreigners who are working, and this is my ambition which put me into that place now.
So you live in Korea, so what was the most difficult thing about adjusting to the life here, to the Korean society?
The most hard thing to adjusting to the Korean society was kind of to change my European way of thinking about some of the places in the mentality, and also how the things are done. So, for example, usually when you have a deadline, no one would do it in advance, but they will start doing it close to the deadline, or making things trying to make things a lot harder than they are in real life. What does it mean? It's basically that even if we have performers or something, in Europe you won't usually pay that much attention and that much input into that performances, for example, especially if it's only students club or something like that. And here they're making it so big and so important that it became kind of the life and lifestyle.
So they put more work into everything.
Into everything, literally, and also thinking in everything. It's in the order. Even the school grades and everything, you need to be first, second, third, because when you're 100 and something, you're not that great in the society.
Yeah.
So it's hard to adjust your mentality into that kind of point of view.
Do you think there's a lot of competition then?
There is a lot of competition, especially if you want to work in a big company and have a good job and be seen well in the society, especially as a foreigner.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds quite difficult.
It is.
But you found your place in Korea, right?
Yeah,
How long
somehow.
Have you been here?
For now, it's been exactly 2 years. Okay. Yeah, I came exactly 2 years ago.
Oh my god, 2 years. All right, so I'm glad you've adjusted and you found...
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah, somehow. But do you still have any problems with adjusting, or is it more kind of natural now?
It's more natural with the adjustments, but still it's quite hard, especially in the workplace when you're the only foreigner. Yes. Sometimes they are treating you differently, or you sometimes don't know how things work in the working environment. Because the working environment is quite different here in Korea than the one in Europe or the UK. Because here work is alive, basically, in a lot of companies, and especially music industry, which we'll be talking a little bit later on.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. That career is one of the most important aspects of life, which I think in Europe is the opposite, kind of. You work
in Europe. Especially when I hear from my friends, work-life balance is really important. Here, the work-life balance, it's not still that important as in Europe.
Okay.
Especially if music industry.
Yeah.
Especially.
Music industry seems to be the most difficult one.
One of the most
difficult ones. Okay. So you've been here for 2 years. So what is your favorite thing to do, to eat, and to see in Korea?
Oh my god, to eat, to see, and to do. Okay. Favorite thing to eat. I don't have any particular favorite food. I love almost all of the food here in Korea. I would say I love bibimbap.
The classic.
I would say every season has the most perfect dish for that particular season. For example, during the summer, I love konkuksu. Which is the noodles in soup made of the soy milk. I think it's the soy milk. I also love tteok, all of the kinds of the sweets with red beans, for example,
the rice cake, right?
With the rice cakes. Yeah. My favorite thing to do is actually going to concerts, to museums, to musicals. This is my favorite thing to do because not a lot of people actually know that Seoul is really well known for the artist, like as the artistic soul. So there's a lot of really small theaters, really small musical theaters, so you can explore and go and watch like every single week you can watch something new. So this is really exciting. Exactly.
What is the best concert you've been to in Seoul?
So the best K-pop one was definitely 80s. They are making the best performances I ever seen in the K-pop scene ever. I've been in tons of Korean like K-pop concerts, and 80s always making the best show. And Western artists, I would say Nothing But Thieves was the best concert because the public, like the people who came there, they were like really into concert. They wasn't recording that much, so there was almost no phones, and people were just enjoying the moment. So that was a perfect concert, which doesn't happen a lot in Korea because people tend to record everything.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
so also a different concert culture, kind of.
Exactly, different concert culture.
And what is your favorite thing to see?
Favorite things to see? I love the most like those small alleys, those small like streets with the neons, with the cables everywhere. Especially like not in those really modern places like here in now. Kind of more the historical or more old Seoul, because it has this like old vibes, you know.
Yeah, same.
It's not that big. It's like small. Everything is packed.
And you can find very interesting like gems as well. You know, like
Exactly,
certain
like
places
small
you would never
restaurants. Yeah, like small restaurants when like all of the menu is on the walls, only in Korean. You only pay by, you know, the Kakao Pay or something, because there is some kind of those restaurants. No one speaks English,
Yeah,
and you're
it's
just
very
coming there like, yeah. And when they see foreigners, they're like, oh my God, this is the foreigner.
Yeah, that's same for me. I think that's my favorite part of Seoul, because like new buildings and, you know, modern stuff, it kind of looks the same as everywhere, but the alleys.
Really true, especially in Asia when you compare places. Like the modern Seoul look really similar to like modern Tokyo or like Hong Kong, yeah, Osaka, yeah. They kind of look similar.
Yeah. Why Korea, actually? Why did you choose to come here, not to...
Why
'cause
Korea?
Before you studied in the UK, right? So...
Well, I haven't been thinking about coming to Korea since my studies in UK. Actually, I never was thinking that I'm going to come to Korea. I was always thinking, oh, I'm going to Japan. I will go to Japan. I started to learn Japanese when I was like 14 or something. But then I went to UK and I started to explore more about the fan culture in media and how media are different here in Korea and how they are made differently than the one in Europe. So I was really interested in, especially in the fan culture and how the Korean marketing in fan culture is developing here. So I decided, like, I made that decision to come to Korea during the COVID pandemic.
Okay.
I didn't know about that before. So I made that decision then, and I started to learn Korean. And I found the university where one of the people who reads the article, like the academic article about exactly that topic which interested me. The professor who wrote that is a teacher in Hanyang.
Okay.
And I even took classes with him, so he was like kind of like starting point for my career and for my thinking about like knowing more about the topic. And then I decided that actually I want to like see how the K-pop industry is working here in Korea, and maybe then I can come back to Europe or go to US and try to implement some of the good stuff from Korean music industry into like our European one.
So
someday.
What is the main difference between Korean and like Western music industry?
Okay, the Western music industry is a mess. It's not planned. It's not planned. We don't have like this. A lot of people who are working for one artist, for example, and we also don't have like the strict rules about, you know, training. And I'm always saying that being a K-pop star is kind of like learning your particular job. This is like when you, I don't know, when someone want to become an electrician, for example, they're going to a particular school to become that person. So here in Korea, people are going to the artistic schools in order to become a K-pop idol. So they start to preparing for that job really early in their life.
Very long process.
Yeah, very long process. So we don't have that, and also we don't have, like, for example, fan manager here in Korea. This is the person who is like responsible for social media and all of the communication with between the fan and idol. And they are usually also living with the idol for certain period of time, and we also don't have this training process.
Yeah,
we also don't like push artists to like make an album every 3 months, for example. We usually have like 2 years new album. Whenever I'm ready, I will have a new album. Here, 3 months, you need to be ready in 3 months. Whole album. This is our album. There are not a lot of like full albums, because in European countries usually have like, going to have a launch a new album. It's going to have like 12 songs. Here, usually albums have like 2, 3. There is sometimes like single albums, so they are smaller, and we also have like the Japanese albums. So Korean artists making albums in like 2 or 3 different languages, which is also not well known in European countries. As I told you, here being a K-pop idol is treated as an actual job. So you sign a contract, and being an idol is your job. So you need to behave in a certain way. You need to like fulfill your obligations and all of the stuff. So yeah, exactly. So, for example, people who are working as a fan manager, for example, we kind of don't have something like that in Europe, because this is the person who is responsible for taking care of the social media, for what inclusion is going to be in CD, what fan signs are going to look like, and everything which is like around fan culture here in Korea, which is like huge here and much different than in Europe. So you know about that. All of the fan chants, all of the the fan events and stuff like that. We're going to plan it, and they were trying to like make as much profit as possible and get as much fans as possible. Also, they are accepting, for example, messages on Bubble. If you know what the Bubble is, then you know this is the fan manager work to do, like accept photos to be like published on Instagram, for example, and also messages on Bubble. So fan manager needs to work on all of those things. We don't have anything like that in West.
Definitely not.
No, not in like Europe or US. We don't have something like that. And also fan manager usually also the band.
Yeah, that's also
which is quite unique. Because usually like K-pop idols are basically 24/7 under the agency, so we are watching them what they are doing 24/7 basically.
So there's much less privacy, I think.
Much less privacy, yeah.
Yeah, like Western artists, I guess they can post what they want, but well, maybe not exactly what they want, but
yeah, kind of true.
Okay. So you're also an influencer, right?
Yeah.
And you're one of the very few foreigners who get into the industry and became an influencer in Korea. So what struggles did you have, and what advantages do you think being a foreigner brings?
Influencer, there is not much things which are like different, or because I cannot be an influencer who is like showing the backstage of the work, because it's not allowed. So I cannot like publish a lot of things about my work to the public. So I cannot do that. But it's definitely helping with how to make more views, or how to make more viral marketing things, especially on social media. Which sounds to use, for example, on TikTok or Instagram, which reels going to be more popular, which like challenges should we make? So this is kind of like something between being K-pop star and an influencer. So there's also a lot of K-pop stars which are considered like influencers because they are popular on TikTok, for example. So it kind of helped me to like gain this, you know, a little bit different point of view, like more influencer point of view to this kind of social media. But besides that, not really. Maybe like this, also only like for the searching what is trendy right now. This is what is helping me basically.
Okay. What about being a foreigner in K-pop? Are there any advantages, or do you think it's kind of a struggle?
Advantages is that a lot of people, after seeing me only once, they immediately recognize me, even on like 10th, 11th events. They always remember me because I am the only foreigner who is there. Besides usually Chinese and Japanese people who are, there's a few, but still there's a couple of people who are working in the industry, but usually they are not a staff.
Yeah.
So they are mostly sitting in the office, not going like with the bands to the music shows and stuff like that. So I'm usually the only foreigner. I'm usually also the only white foreigner there.
Okay.
So they really recognize me easy. So even like the K-pop stars and all of the people, they are talking behind my back sometimes, and I know that they are talking about me. So yeah, this is advantage, disadvantage. You can, you know, consider it as you wish.
Yeah.
But besides that, a lot of people think that I do not understand Korean. So yeah,
Which is not true.
Which is not true. Yeah, which is not true. So I am a kind of a mascot, you know, for any company which I'm working with. I'm usually the mascot person, and a lot of people usually do not pay attention to me because I'm a foreigner. So they don't know if I'm like someone, I don't know, visiting or somebody like a random person.
Yeah.
So they don't pay much attention to me. So I can kind of do more things, go to every single place more freely.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
they don't pay attention to me because
pretty
this is
cool.
just a foreigner, you know.
Yeah, maybe they think you're like a lost tourist or something.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
We can, yeah.
Okay, so what is the weirdest thing you've learned or seen about K-pop or working in the K-pop industry?
Maybe not the most strange thing, but I was kind of worried about the amount of work with like top K-pop idols do, especially during like the comeback period. Okay. The amount of work which they are doing and their schedule is so packed. I was kind of worried about them and about staff and about people who are working with them as well, because there is amount of work which I never seen before, to be honest, because they are working almost without sleep for the 4 or 3 weeks straight.
Yeah,
you can imagine that.
Demanding.
You know, for example, they have recordings set at 4 a.m. Then they have break. Then
4 a.m.
I don't know. Then they have break.
Okay.
Then they have like the kind of fan sign or something different online. For example, online fan sign can be organized while they are still waiting in the waiting room for the show, for the for the music program. And then they need to be until the end of the music program, so until like 6 p.m. or something. And then again, next day another music program, again 4 a.m. recording and 5 a.m. recording. And they need to have like the makeup and hair done before that.
Yeah, so they don't sleep at all.
They almost don't sleep, or they sleep in the buses or something like that. This is like crazy. And this is what I learned, and this is what I saw only after being there and seeing it with my own eyes, you know.
Yeah, and did you have any weird situation maybe that happened to you?
Any weird situation? There was a couple actually, but the one which stuck with me for a really long time was when it was like the second, I think it was like the second week of the promotion time with my band which I was working with, and I was going, I don't know, for coffee or for something like that. So I left the building when we had like our dressing room and everything. So I left the building, go to get a coffee for our team. So I was going back with the coffee, and you need to pass the guard in order to get into the elevator, which taking you directly to the dressing room. All of the K-pop stars everyone is in the dressing room, and this is quite hidden gate. So only people who know that there is a gate, they go there. So basically all of the fans, this is like open, there's only one guard and there is no one. So basically when fan will know about that place, they will probably attack this place basically, or just standing there and looking how the K-pop idols leave the building or something like that. So I went there, and the guard was thinking that I am a fan who lost the way. So he was really like, he was like, oh, you cannot go there. This is like prohibited. So you cannot go there. And I was like, but I am the person from the staff. I need to go there. So he was like, oh, so who is the manager of your band? And I was just basically called the manager of the band and like gave the phone to the guard, and there you go, I can go now.
Yeah, that's I think also one of the struggles of being a foreigner in K-pop industry,
because they always thinking that you're the crazy fan who went there only to be a passing or something like that, or this crazy fan, not an actual person from the staff.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Does it happen often, or?
Yes, often. They usually just especially when they don't see my face, they only see my hair and like how I dress, because I kind of look similar to Koreans recently. So when they don't see my face and I was speaking Korean, they always think, oh, this should be a Korean, right?
Yeah,
there was one guy who only when my star said that, oh, there is like the person from Poland in our staff today, and he was like, is that a foreigner? I was like, yeah, I'm a foreigner.
Oh my god. Yeah, but that's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, my Korean is finally getting better.
Yeah, it's a big recognition of like all the effort.
Exactly, all the effort.
Okay, so what advice would you give to someone who wants to either move to Korea or specifically go into the K-pop music industry as a foreigner?
As a foreigner, in the first place, learn Korean, because here no one in the music industry actually speaks English very well. And in office, even if we like publish things in English, not necessarily people know English, because we have something like ChatGPT right now. So a lot of messages from fans are translated by ChatGPT.
Okay.
So there is not a lot. Yeah, there is not a lot of people who actually speaks English. So you need to learn Korean. You need to pass a lot of Korean exams and stuff like that. And first of all, you need to get experience here in Korea. So you need to find, before start to working, you need to find a place to actually gain some experience in the industry here in Korea and do some contacts. Because without that, getting job, even in the marketing team, is almost impossible. It is difficult, but if you really want to do this, you can do this. But you need to find your way, and especially all of those music schools and academies which giving the hands-on experience or teach you about the K-pop industry. They're really good, and there is not only my school, not only my music school, but there's plenty of others. And I think even the NBC Academy doing something like that. So under the TV station, they also having something like the Music Academy or something like that. So there's a lot of things you can do, but you need to know where to start searching for it.
Yeah.
So any music academy with planning management or things like that connected to the music industry, it's a good start.
Okay. Okay, that's a good advice. How well do you need to know Korean?
How well?
Is there like a minimum level, or is it just fluent?
No, you not necessarily need to be fluent. I'm not fluent in Korean and by any means. You just need to, at the very start, you need to just know Korean communicatively. Later on, when you actually want to start working, you kind of need to know some business Korean, because you're going to make a deals or make contracts in Korean. So you need that kind of vocabulary, quite difficult language. But this is later on. At the very beginning, the communication level it's more than enough. And especially a lot of vocabulary in media is from English, so it's easy to learn for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you for the talk. I think we talked a lot about like life in Korea and kind of the industry in general.
Yeah, I hope I like get a little bit deeper into the topic.
Yeah, I'm sure you help some people who wanted to maybe work in K-pop. Do you have anything else that you would like to add? Maybe.
What kind of stuff I need to add? Oh my gosh. I don't know. Maybe, especially if you want to work in the K-pop industry, you cannot be only interested in K-pop. You need to have a knowledge about music in general. Because a lot of K-pop idols, they get inspiration from Madonna, Beyonce, and a lot of American artists and other artists in the world. So you need to know a lot of genres and a lot of music, because even K-pop idols, they sometimes saying that, oh, I actually listen to jazz in my free time, or rock or something like that. So you need to know a lot of genres, because K-pop is basically a mix of everything. So you
that's
not only
pretty
K-pop,
good advice.
but you need to know everything, and you need to know a little bit of music, a little bit of mixing, a little bit of, I don't know, singing,
Music production, kind of.
sometimes even the music production, especially if you want to work, it's something which is not connected to like really office work in the industry. So yeah, you need to know a little bit about music as well.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much. It was nice to see you again.
It was nice to see you again.
And yeah, I guess that's the end.